Hi guys, welcome back. I want to explain my process of how to do metal. I took acrylic paint, regular acrylic paint, golden, with a brush, and I kind of took some black and went down the sideways of a sanded aluminum panel. Now the paint will grab onto that and smear around, and that's what you want. And you want to just like dry brush it so it looks more like scratches and worn metal. Here I'm laying some tape down so I can get a crisp line. It doesn't have to be as dark as I made it. I kind of wish that I wouldn't have made it so dark. So if you're going to try this, you just want it barely black. You don't have to make it like dark. I'm peeling off the tape, and I am going to place it in different areas that I think it should be. Taping the bottom of that so it won't go all the way down, because I'm going to put another line on the other side. Also going to add a little rip in the metal, just so you can see it's not hard to do a rip or a tear. It's just angling where you want your light coming from in the darkness. And of course, to do a realistic metal, there's a lot of work to it. And I can show you little tricks that I do sometimes, and it'll be at the end. But I like the dry brush over the aluminum panel. This is a stencil that I'm using, and I taped off the other holes so that I won't accidentally get overspray on my panel. I'm going to try videotaping down on the table instead of up on my easel. See if that gives you a better view, but I don't know. I don't know if I can handle it, because I've always worked on an easel upright, not down on the desk or whatever. But coming up here, I'm going to have a commission for another child's portrait. I get those a lot, and animals, and I want to do demonstrations of a lot of different things, and not just automotive stuff. But that is my most thing that I had done in the past. But like I said before, I'm venturing out, trying to do things more realistic, and it's getting used to it. But I am taking a class from Marissa Olstein, and oh my gosh, I was already blown away by the information alone. So I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And I've taken classes before from different people. But so far, I've enjoyed her class the most. Of course, Drew Blair is supposed to be one of the absolute best for realism. I have taken one of his classes before. I learned a few things, but I had been airbrushing for a while, so I already knew quite a bit. But the realism is color theory is most important in airbrushing. And there's 4 properties to paint. There's your hue and your value and saturation, or chroma, sometimes they call it, and temperature. As long as you get your temperature and your hue right, This is virtually on the cold side. And I kind of went a little overboard here. I got a little carried away and got a little bit too dark on the rivets. But, I came in later after the video and kind of fixed things up and made it look more real. I wanted it to look like kind of beat up metal. It's been around a while, so it was darkened and kind of ugly looking, but it's all about just shadows, getting them in there right, getting your highlights right, because metal shines in certain areas, and then it reflects also what's around it. So when I do metal, I always want to put a bit of color in it, because metal reflects what is around it, and usually there's something around metal. So I just don't always use the black and gray and white. And I put a little bit of color in there. A lot of times in my lettering, I'll add blues and yellows, sometimes purples and blues. It just depends. There you see I'm kind of etching out where I'm going to put like a rip in the metal, kind of etching it out with white there first. And you can use an opaque white here, but I think I had illustration in there, and it wasn't opaque. It was a translucent, which I should have used the opaque, but it still worked. Just a little bit more work. Here I'm just adding some little lines here and there. It kind of adds texture to the metal. Makes it look a little bit more beat up in certain areas. And, again, I'll be airbrushing stuff over it, so don't get all panicky going, ooh, what's she doing that for? You'll like it in the end. I guarantee it. It's wet here today in Indiana. Rainy. Went to a funeral. Came back, had to start painting. Always makes me feel better. It is therapy. I don't know about you, but if you're an airbrusher, you're usually stuck in your studio. Because it's just, you gotta love it, right? It's your love. Around where I'm at, nobody airbrushes. And it's nice to get away around other airbrushers that really love it. Or even to watch online like you're watching me. In a group AA, they all have a common bond because they all are alcoholics, and they all share that struggle of trying to break free from it. Well, airbrushers are kind of in the group all along themselves too, because they all love it. We all have a love for it. I don't know why I'm babbling. I think it's because it's a funeral. I'm sorry. I want to depress y'all. Anyway, it's Cretex illustration paint. I just ordered some Holbein acrylic ink. I'm going to give it a try, see how I like it. I have so many different kinds of paint. I don't know why I can't just use one paint for everything. I have no idea. I don't know the difference between the ink and the Cretex illustration, because I'm seemingly thinking they're probably pretty much equal as far as the thickness of it. I know ink is more like a stain, I would think, so I don't know. I don't know the difference. But it seems like a lot of people are going to the ink, and I honestly don't know how ink would react on metal, so I don't know. We'll find out because I'm going to try using it on a portrait, and then if it works well, I'll be using it on my commission piece I got. Just, you always want to try different things or new things that's coming out. They may not be as good as the old, so just stick to the old. But you always want to find out if it's better, because if it's better, then it makes your work a lot easier. Here I'm adding in some black lines here and there. Again, I wanted it to look like beat up metal, so it's kind of all about putting your shading in the right place and how it's hitting. I need to find out if the Holbein ink cures overnight too, because that's what I'm after, something that's going to cure in a short time, so you can come back and work on it again and put added paint in there. Make sure you're putting your shadows in the right place on this rip so it actually looks like a rip coming out. And then put your shadows in there so it looks like it's hanging over the one piece a little bit. And you add your shadows here and there, because metal's not all perfect in certain areas. I got a little bit too dark there, but I came back later and fixed that. It's just light shades of black, and I was too close and laid too much. But if you put a little shading around that rivet, it kind of makes it look like it's sunken in the metal. I tend to darken the areas where the metal comes together and where the rivets are. I kind of went a little bit too dark here, but you can always fix that later. I'm darkening the sides there. I need to remember to wear gloves. I don't really like getting a lot of paint on me. Even though this is supposed to be a non-toxic paint, you always want to wear a respirator, because you get those little particles in your lungs. It turns to like a plastic, so you really should be wearing a mask. It doesn't have to be a respirator, because you're not actually spraying automotive paint, but you still need to wear a mask. The cobalt paint is supposed to be very toxic, so just kind of misting over it a little bit. Do, 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 do. Working on the corner, and I realized it's out of focus there, so you're not seeing what I'm doing. Kind of putting little shadows in that rip there, because when the light hits it, it will be hitting it from the one side, and then you'll have a little bit of shine from where it's actually torn back from the inside part of the metal. And inside that black area, the dark shadow part, you could put, a hand coming out or a skull behind there or whatever. I don't get into skulls. Everybody does them. I just don't like them. They symbolize death. And then you can always go back in and put more highlights, and you can really overdo it, but I was trying to put some shine in there, and then I decided just to do what I usually always do, and you'll be seeing that here pretty soon. You can always take it out too and go around the edges of this metal and make it look like it's worn, shiny, popping up. You use your dowel to scratch or to remove the paint, and then you mist over it a little bit so it doesn't look so drastic, I like things that don't really look so uniformed or balanced, and I know it's all about the balance, but I like things that tend to look like they're put together and they're not all correctly right. Because men seem to not men, okay, man and woman seem to mess things up all the time. Putting some highlights in there and some shine. Not liking the one area to the left bottom. Putting a little darker. The white that I had scratched out around there just did not look right, so I'm putting a little bit more shading in there to cover up some of the areas so it looks a little bit more natural the way it should look and not so drastic. So it's fall. It's one of my favorite time of year. I love spring the best, but fall, all the colors start popping out. You cannot deny it's beautiful. I will not be on in October, the last week in October. I am taking a vacation for a week. So I'll try to upload something before that. I'm sure I'll remind everyone again that I'll be gone. just darkening those areas. Now, when this is cleared with automotive clear, it will make that black really black, but right now it's not popping out. So I'm just going over, hitting it here and there, making it look beat up. And then I know it kind of looks like it's too much black in there, but you'll see that it's not. It takes dark to make the light come out. I have an acrylic marker, and I'm putting some silver. Wow, I really wish that was in focus. Okay, got it in focus now. Here I'm just, with the dowel, I'm just scratching out some really thin highlights in there. You could go all over this panel if you really wanted to. If you could go all the way around the ends of the metal in certain areas and make it shiny in other areas, and kind of have them meet together in some places. You don't have to spend this much time on a metal for, the basic metal look for people. It depends on what they want to pay, really. I mean, you could really make this look really like realistic metal, but that's going to take a lot of time, and most people don't want to pay for that. So you do what looks good to them, even though you could do more. But you also know you're going to be putting in a lot more time. Just putting some tiny highlights in there on those rivets, and here and there on the metal. Make it pop out here and there. And that's hard to see on this camera, so it's there. It just is hard to see that I put that in there. Now, I'm going to show you. I'm sorry that this is small. I have my camera turned the wrong way. But anyway, I'm coming in with acrylic markers. And now
what I did was,
this is set for a while, so it's cured, and it's just a regular acrylic marker. It's silver. And what I like to do is kind of draw straight lines the same direction of the lines that's coming down. And while the paint is still wet, I'm taking my finger and kind of smearing it. And it's giving it a shiny reflection. Which you're probably not going to be able to pick up there. But see, I'm showing you how the metal, how it shines to make it look like it's real metal.
You can even come in with,
and you can put, metal usually is reflecting something, so you could put different colors, just dabs here and there, maybe certain areas like blue, purple.
You're getting
I don't know, something light like yellow. Just in the white area or the silver areas, do you want to put that tint of yellow? And you only want to do maybe a few. I'm putting some tints of blue in there. See how that really looks like it's just scarred up metal? I mean, and it's airbrushed. And this isn't really, I didn't really take a lot of time with this. I mean, I can. Thanks for watching, guys. Come back.